It seems like everywhere you look these days, AI is blowing up, right? I mean,
Yeah.
scroll through any news feed for a few minutes and you're bound to see something about the latest crazy AI breakthrough.
It really is remarkable the pace of advancement we're seeing.
Yeah, and for anyone working in the field, like yourself, it's got to be exciting to see how AI is reshaping things, but also maybe you're thinking about, how to really build your future here in the US. Plant those roots. And that's what we're digging into today.
Absolutely.
Specifically, we're looking at the EB-2 NIW, the National Interest Waiver,
Right.
and how your skills in AI can potentially unlock that door to a green card.
It's a pathway that a lot of AI professionals are understandably curious about.
Yeah, so we've been diving deep into some pretty targeted information, the kind that's usually meant for immigration attorneys. But what we're finding is that there's a lot of valuable insights here for anyone in the AI world who's wondering, how does my everyday work actually connect with the bigger picture in the US? Like, how can I show that what I'm doing matters on a national scale?
It's about understanding how to bridge that gap, right,
Right.
between the technical expertise and the broader impact. And that's really what makes a successful EB-2 NIW application. You have to demonstrate that connection convincingly.
Exactly. So think of this as your cheat sheet to understanding what makes an EB2 NIW application stand out when your main area of expertise is AI. Let's start with the basics. The EB2 NIW, if you're even looking at this, you probably already know, it's a way for people with advanced degrees or exceptional abilities to maybe, possibly, skip that traditional job offer requirement for a green card. It's a big deal, right? But the catch is you have to be able to show that your work is truly, deeply in the national interest of the United States, that it's going to benefit the nation in a big, big way.
It's a high bar to clear, for sure.
It is, it is. And one thing that's been really jumping out at us from what we've been reading is that simply being part of the AI revolution, which, let's be honest, that sounds pretty impactful on its own.
You would think.
Right. But it's not a guaranteed slam dunk for this.
Yeah.
Just working in AI, that's not enough.
Yeah, that's the thing that surprised me when we started looking into this. It's not enough to just ride the wave of AI excitement. You have to go deeper.
Yeah.
It's about how you articulate your specific role in that wave and how you connect your unique skills in your work to something bigger than yourself.
So it's not enough to just say, I'm an AI researcher or, I build AI models. That's not going to impress anyone at USCIS.
Not at all. They want specifics,
Yeah.
tangible connections.
Exactly. So you need to really drill down and be specific about your particular area of AI and why it matters to the U.S. And the resources we've been digging into, they give us some really good examples. Let's take healthcare, for instance. Instead of a broad statement about, AI and healthcare, imagine if you're developing AI-driven diagnostic tools for early detection of, let's say, Alzheimer's disease. Now, that's specific.
And incredibly impactful. Think about the potential to revolutionize how we approach a disease that affects millions of Americans.
Exactly. You're not just talking about AI in general. You're talking about a targeted application that has the potential to significantly improve people's lives and transform healthcare in the U.S. So much stronger than just saying, I work in AI healthcare.
Right, and that's the key, really. You have to connect the dots for them, show them why your work matters to the country. Another area that's highlighted in the materials is agriculture. Think about AI-powered precision farming. It can optimize resource use, increase crop yields.
Yeah, and that directly ties into a major national concern, food security.
Exactly. This isn't just about efficiency, it's about ensuring that the U.S. has a stable and secure food supply. By linking your AI work to something as fundamental as that, you're making a much stronger argument. You're showing them this isn't just about me advancing my career, this is about me contributing to something vital for the nation.
Right, right. And then there's cybersecurity. It's such a huge issue these days, right? It's always in the news.
Always.
So if your AI work is all about, let's say, detecting and preventing cyber threats, that has massive implications for national security. It's about making that connection explicit. Instead of a general statement like, I work in AI for cybersecurity, the advice here is to be laser focused.
Give them concrete examples.
Right. Like, I'm developing AI algorithms that can identify and neutralize sophisticated ransomware attacks that are targeting, critical infrastructure in the U.S. See how that paints a much clearer picture?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, it's not just theoretical, it's directly addressing a real and present danger. And that's what they're looking for. They want to see that you're not just working on AI for AI's sake. You're applying it to solve real-world problems that directly impact the nation.
Okay, so we've talked about the what being really specific about your AI work now. Let's move on to the how. How do you actually prove that what you're doing is making a difference or has the strong potential to make a difference?
This is where the strength of your evidence comes in.
Right, because it's not enough to just say your work is important.
No, you have to show them. And the more robust and concrete the proof you can provide, the more persuasive your case will be. The materials we've been looking at highlight several key types of evidence.
Yeah, lay it on us.
So first up, publications. Published research in reputable journals, that's gold, especially if your work has been cited by others in the field. That demonstrates that you're contributing to the advancement of knowledge in a way that's recognized by your peers.
Right, it shows you're not just working in a silo, you're part of a larger scientific conversation. And what else?
Patents. Granted, patents are another strong indicator. It means your work is innovative, it's original, it's potentially commercially valuable. And for USCIS, that's a big deal because it suggests that your work could have a tangible economic impact on the U.S.
Okay, so publications, patents, those are the classic ways to show expertise. But it goes beyond just, academic recognition, right?
Absolutely.
The material also talks about showcasing AI solutions that have actually been adopted by, big name companies or major organizations.
Right, because that's real-world validation. If a major player in healthcare or agriculture is actually using your AI technology, that speaks volumes. It's no longer just a theoretical possibility. It's a proven solution that's being implemented and making a difference in a practical setting.
Exactly. And then there's the whole thing about leadership and recognition within your specific AI niche. Prestigious awards, leadership roles in important projects, maybe even formal recognition from respected colleagues or institutions. It all helps build a picture of someone who's not just working in AI, but is a real mover and shaker, someone who's making a real impact.
It's about demonstrating that you're not just a participant, you're a leader. And that kind of recognition carries a lot of weight. The takeaway here is pretty clear. Don't just tell them you have potential, show them.
Okay, so we've got the what being specific and the how proving impact. Now, the next piece of the puzzle is how your work aligns with the bigger picture of U.S. national policies. And the information we've been looking at, it specifically mentions the Trump administration's AI strategy.
Right, which is an interesting point to consider. While specific government administrations and their policies will naturally change over time, the fundamental idea of maintaining U.S. leadership in critical technologies, that's a pretty consistent national goal. And the Trump administration strategy, as outlined here, it really emphasized fostering innovation, reducing any kind of regulatory roadblocks, and crucially, making sure that the United States stays at the forefront of AI technology.
So the question for anyone working in AI is how do you tie your work into these larger national goals? What's the connection?
Right, and the source material actually gives us some pretty clear pointers on that.
Okay, great. So what are they saying?
Well, for one, if your work directly strengthens U.S. technological leadership, maybe you're pioneering a brand new AI technique or developing a groundbreaking application that gives the U.S. a competitive edge, that's a strong argument. It shows you're not just keeping up, you're pushing the boundaries and helping the U.S. stay ahead of the curve.
Right, pushing the boundaries. What else?
Another point they make is the impact on the workforce. If your AI work can significantly boost the skills of the U.S. workforce, maybe through creating training opportunities or by generating new high-paying jobs, that aligns perfectly with national priorities for economic growth and competitiveness.
Yeah, because it's not just about the technology itself. It's about how that technology translates into real benefits for American workers and for the overall economy.
Exactly. And then there's the issue of critical infrastructure. If your expertise is being used to make essential systems in the U.S. more secure, more resilient, more efficient, that obviously has major national implications.
Right, because you're talking about things like the power grid, transportation systems, communication networks, all the things that keep the country running. And if your AI work is helping to protect and improve those systems, that's a direct contribution to national security and well-being.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the example they give of AI directly boosting U.S. competitiveness in the global market, that's particularly relevant here because if your work is helping American companies innovate more effectively and compete on a global scale, that's a huge economic win for the nation. And of course, AI contributions that have a clear link to national defense are always going to be seen as incredibly important.
So it really seems like making that conscious effort to frame your work within these broader policy priorities, It adds a whole other level of significance to your application. It's not just about you and your individual accomplishments. It's about showing how your work fits into the bigger picture of what the nation is trying to achieve, especially in a field as important as AI.
It's about connecting the dots for them. Show them that your work, even if it's very specialized, isn't happening in a vacuum. It's actively supporting the larger strategic goals of the United States.
Now, let's shift gears a bit. Beyond aligning with specific government policies, there's also the aspect of showcasing the broader national interests that your work serves. So, how can you, as someone working in AI, position your individual contributions as part of something much bigger that benefits the entire country? How do you zoom out and paint that bigger picture?
This is where you have the chance to really articulate the long-term vision for your work. It's about showing how your expertise can contribute to the ongoing well-being and progress of the U.S. as a whole. The source material really emphasizes the idea of positioning yourself as a key player in the larger national effort to ensure that the U.S. remains a leader in AI research, development, and practical application in the years to come.
So it's about looking beyond the immediate impact of your current project and thinking about the lasting legacy of your work. How will your contributions help advance the nation's AI capabilities over the long haul?
Exactly. It's about showing that you're not just focused on a single project. You're committed to playing a part in the continuous growth and evolution of the U.S. AI ecosystem.
So you're not just, here's what I'm doing right now. It's more like, here's how my work fits into this larger trajectory of American innovation in AI.
Precisely. And the materials suggest that you should really be thinking about the long-term benefits that your work could generate. How could your AI innovations potentially impact the U.S. economy, not just today or tomorrow, but in the years and decades ahead? Could your work lead to breakthroughs that address major societal challenges like, climate change or developing new medical treatments? Does your particular area of expertise in AI help to foster a broader culture of technological innovation within the U.S.?
So even if your current project is very narrowly focused on a specific application, you need to be able to zoom out and explain how that work fits into this larger picture of AI advancement within the U.S. You're not just an isolated researcher, you're a vital part of a national movement that's shaping the future of the country in this incredibly important field.
It's about weaving your own story and your specific contributions into the larger narrative of American innovation and leadership in what is arguably the defining technology of our time.
Okay, so let's recap everything we've covered. If you're listening to this and you're an AI professional who's thinking about the EB-2 NIW route, here are the key takeaways. First, be incredibly specific about your AI work and how it can make a real impact in the U.S. Don't just say you work in AI. Clearly explain exactly what you do, the specific problem you're addressing, the benefit you're bringing to the table.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to get into the nitty-gritty details. The more specific you are, the better they can understand the value of your work.
Right. And second, you've got to back up your claims with solid evidence. Show them you're not just all talk.
Right. Bring in those publications, the patents you've been awarded, any AI solutions you've developed that are actually being used out there in the real world, any leadership roles you've had, any recognition you've received. Make it clear that your work is already making a difference or that it's on the verge of making a big splash.
And third, really think about how your particular AI work aligns with the bigger picture of U.S. national policies and strategic goals. How does your expertise contribute to promoting innovation, keeping the U.S. at the forefront of technology, strengthening the American economy and society?
And even though specific policies might change, the underlying goals of national security, economic competitiveness, and technological leadership, those tend to remain fairly consistent. So connect your work to those overarching themes.
Right. And finally, don't forget to highlight the broader national interests that your work serves in the long run. Show them how your contributions fit into a larger movement that has the potential to really boost the U.S. economy, address major societal issues, and drive technological progress for the entire nation.
It's about taking your specialized expertise and framing it within a much larger and more compelling narrative of American innovation and progress.
So while the advancements in AI are super exciting, and it's clearly an area that the U.S. is really prioritizing, securing that EB-2 NIW as an AI expert, it's not a given. It takes a lot of thought, a lot of strategy, and you have to be able to really drive home the point that your work is making a real difference for the U.S.
Absolutely. It's about going beyond the general hype around AI and clearly articulating your unique value proposition to the nation.
This has been a really eye-opening look at this whole process. And for anyone listening, I think the big takeaway is that careful preparation and being able to really explain the significance of your work, that's absolutely key if you're going down this path.
Absolutely. You have to be your own best advocate.
You do, you do. And it really highlights how important it is for anyone working in AI to not just focus on the technical aspects of their work, but also understand why that work is important in the larger scheme of things. How does it contribute to the U.S. national interests?
It's about seeing the forest for the trees,
Right.
right? Understanding how your individual tree fits into the larger ecosystem.
Exactly, exactly. So here's a final thought to leave you with. Given how fast AI is evolving, what totally unexpected areas do you think will become crucial for demonstrating national interest in the years to come? What are we not even thinking about yet that will suddenly become essential?
Oh, that's a great question. It really makes you think about what the future holds.
It does. And beyond those traditional forms of evidence, like, publications and patents, what other, maybe less conventional ways could people use to really showcase the impact of their work? What could someone do to say, hey, look, this is how my AI work is making a real difference on a national level?
I think that's something that everyone working in AI needs to be thinking about.
Yeah.
Because the landscape is changing so quickly, the ways we demonstrate our impact will need to evolve as well. It's an exciting time to be in the field, that's for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely a lot to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's been a pleasure having you here.
It's been my pleasure, as always.
All right, until next time, everyone.